All right, time to formalize this. Describe a location in a distribution. Big idea number one, or important idea, I guess let's labeled it this time. So, percentile. By the way, there's two of them, so if we want to kind of... so percentile is the percentage of values that are less than or equal to a given value. Okay? We're going to say it is at, so a value is at a percentile, not in. Oftentimes you'll see it's like, oh, I'm in the 90th percentile. Well, technically, if you're talking about being in a percentile, everybody's in the 100th percentile. You're in it, you're just somewhere in there. So if you're saying at, that means that you're the one up at the top. Big idea number two. Slide this over a bit so you can see better. Cumulative. Relative frequency graph. So basically, all of this, cumulative relative frequency is, remember, your percentile. And again, remember my class, you're doing this in your own notes. If you're not in my class, do whatever your teacher told you to do. So if we have a graph here, we're going to start at 0. And we're going to end up here at 1. And then you've got data values down here. And sometimes even instead of bars, what they end up doing is they just connect where things are off. So you just have that connection here. And you just go boom, 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 boom. Yes, life is better with sound effects. Okay. Remember quartile 1, by definition, then would be in your 25th percentile. Shorthand for percentile there. Your median is going to be at your 50th percentile. And then Q3 would be at the right. All right, so there's two questions down here. So pause it, take a look at them, answer them, and we'll see what we can come up with. All right, so Mrs. Newser is concerned about her son's height and weight. Hey, we talked about that yesterday or in the previous one, right? How they compare to other boys of the same age. She uses an online calculator to determine that her son is at the 54th percentile for weight and 28th percentile for height. Explain to Mrs. Newser what these values mean. Okay, so you would say for the 54th percentile would be 54% of boys of the same age have a weight less than or equal to her son. For the other one, you would say 28% of boys the same age have a height less than or equal to, that's an ugly less there, sorry. Less than or equal to her son's height. So in other words, her son is a little heavier than most and a little bit shorter than most, and that's okay. Because kids grow like weeds. You guys will find that out someday, hopefully a very long time from now. Here's a cumulative frequency graph showing distribution points scored for 486 players from 2016 to 2017. So, like right here, the 30th percentile is at 5 points per game. So that means that 30% score 5 points or less. Up here, so etc. So Paul Gasol scored 12.4 games a game. What percentile is he using? Okay, so you're going to say, where's 12.4? 12.4 is right about halfway between 10 and 15. So I'm just going to go straight up pretty much. So right about there. So we know he's going to be about somewhere between 70 and 80%. Maybe a little bit more than 75. So you'd be like, well... Sorry, I just got lost place in my notes. So yeah, you'd go up about there. What do we say? 12.4 points a game. So right about there. So you'd say about, what percentile is he in? So Paul Gasol is at, remember not in, at, and if I said that wrong, I apologize. The, let's say 78th percentile. Meaning 78% of NBA players in 2016-17 scored less than or equal to the number of points he did. Estimate Q1, Q3, and the IQR. All right, so Q1, remember that's 25%. So 25% is going to be here. Wrong side. That's points per game, Mr. Hayes. Yeah, 25% is here. So 25% is here. So you would say, like, okay, let's call that 4 points. Q3 is going to be 75, which is going to be right about here. So I don't know, call that 12 points. So the IQR equals 12 minus 4, and that's 8 points. I mean, think about that. 75%. That means that most of the people in the NBA that season scored 12 points or less per game. 50%, if you want to do that, was even, I mean, that's 8 points. It's kind of interesting. I've always heard it was a star-driven league, but I guess that kind of helps back that up. So anyway, so that is the roundup of distributions and getting into percentiles. Tomorrow, or on the next lesson, we are going to talk about shapes. So, symmetric, etc. We'll talk all different types of shapes. So, catch you later. Check and make sure you're doing what the teacher wants you to do. And again, obviously, like, subscribe, bell.